I have been involved in theater for a long time. It's one of my passions. It's not what I do for a living, although I've been paid to do it on occasion, especially when I was living in California. But it's really what I do as a passion. And when Jeff came to me, he asked me, he said, are there skills in acting that you've learned over the years that translate to what apparently is your business success? And I said, that's an amazing question. I've never been asked that question. I've never thought about it. So give me a minute or so and let me mull it over. And a few days later, we chatted again. I said, there really is a lot of similarities. There's a lot of comparisons. There's a lot of skills that I bring from one that transfer to the other, and a few from business that I actually, in honesty, transfer back into the work that I do in theater. So with that, I said, well, how long would I have to talk? And he said, about 30 minutes. And I said, well, Jeff, we have a problem. It takes me 30 minutes to say hello. So we're going to be a little bit challenged today. When I first drafted this, and I'm old school, I'm not, 25 years old anymore, although I may still look it. So I'm old school. I get an assignment like this if I'm going to sit down and meet with a new client and I'm going to put a project together, if I'm going to work on a new workshop, if I'm going to develop a new training program, a new training seminar for a company or a client, then I sit down with a legal pad and I draft it out with a pencil and a lot of erasers. And I draft it all out. And then I'll sit back and I'll review it. I'll make adjustments to it. I'll make changes to it. And then I'll review it again. And then I'll take my watch off and set it on the table and I'll just read it. Not as if I was going to stand up here and deliver it and move around and interact and throw a few jokes in here. They're just, how long does it take me to read through this material without any sense of emphasis or anything? Well, the first draft of this was about 4 hours. I said, well, that's not going to quite work. So when I had coffee with Jeff last week, I said, Jeff, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to have to regroup and apply a new idea to what I'm going to talk about. You're going to get the Reader's Digest version, but then I thought about it a little bit further, and I realized that you're actually going to get the Reader's Digest version of the Reader's Digest version. So it's going to be a lot shorter than it would otherwise be. I will forewarn you that a lot of what I'll talk about today, some of you are going to sit here and you're going to say, well, I knew that. Oh, I've heard that before. Oh, I do that. Well, I used to. And I should do that. Yeah, I ought to do that. I know I'm supposed to do that. And maybe I'll start doing that again. So some of these things that I'll talk about today are going to be a little bit of reminders for us. And some of you, if you're a little bit new in business or newly promoted into a position of management or leadership in your company, or maybe you're just starting out your company, then some of these ideas may be new, and you say, wow, I've never thought of that, I never heard of that, I never read that book, I didn't go to that seminar, I didn't go to that training class. And so that's a new idea that I can take. So hopefully you'll leave here today with a couple of new ideas and probably with just a series of reminders. By way of introduction, I should just give you a little bit of my background. I have an MBA and a dual PhD from Columbia in Business Management and Business Administration. I founded my company, F.A. White & Associates, back in 1985 in San Francisco, and I operated it alongside my corporate career for many, many years. And I left corporate America a few years back and solely commit my time to my own consulting firm now. I became a master trainer and a master coach in 1989. I'm a founding member of Impact, so I'm intrigued by your business identity, Brett. Impact is an international organization of management consultants, trainers, and coaches. I have successfully, I underline that word, I probably should put quotations around it and highlight it, but I've successfully opened and assisted in the opening of 243 businesses in 14 different industries. I've personally coached and mentored and continue to coach and mentor 2,100 and to date 2,175 business executives, managers, and leaders around the country in a variety of industries. I've trained a little over 10,000 salespeople. Currently, I devote my time to training programs, management development programs, leadership, motivational leadership programs, and executive and business coaching, which is a little bit different than the consulting work I do. So that's just a little bit of a highlight. That's my 30-second commercial on what I do, so you know what I'm here to talk about. So to move into, so I said, well, if I'm going to talk about theater, I'm going to give the cameraman a hard time, aren't I? I'm going to try to stay stationary, but that's hard for somebody like me. So I said, well, lights, camera, action kind of speaks to what the passion in my life, which is my acting and my entertaining work that I do. And the truth is that my life, my career, my business really is like a play, and so is yours. The lights are on, the cameras are running, and in this case, literally, the cameras are running. And I have to be prepared to step into action, and you have to be prepared to step into action. And what takes place before we do that? Now, you heard me say that I sat down and made several drafts on a long legal pad with pencils and erasers and tried to give an outline of what I was going to talk about today. And that's part of what happens. But how do we get to this moment of action? What happens first? Well, I just jotted down a couple of ideas, and I'm going to talk fast because I know he's back there with his clock on timing me.